Hello, I'm Mitra Sorrells, PhocusWire in the PhocusWire studio at Arival in Orlando, and I am joined by Sarah Dines. She is Chief Commercial Officer at Viator. Welcome.
Thanks, Mitra. It's great to be here.
So I know you've just completed the panel that had some interesting discussion about current trends. I'd love to hear you talk a bit more about what you're seeing as far as booking windows and what you're seeing as far as kind of booking patterns or interests.
Mm-hmm. So we're seeing something that is a little bit different from what we were seeing a few years ago, which was a shortening of the booking window. So now we're seeing a lengthening of the booking window, and our hypothesis is that it's because people are very committed to travel and they're making plans well ahead. It could be as a result of fluctuations in airline prices, so they want to make sure they get the deal at the right time. And then people are wanting to make sure that they have their travel plans locked and loaded so that they can get their tickets to their activities and so on. There's another cohort of people, or maybe they're the same people, that actually once they get in destination, they choose to do 6 or 7 other things while they're there, other than their kind of marquee activity that they went to the destination for.
Okay, to me, that idea of a longer booking window certainly speaks to more confidence then, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and we're seeing much lower cancellations as well.
Interesting. And I know I also heard you mention that people are spending more in destination. Is that
spending
multiple?
Spending a lot more, spending on much higher priced tickets, buying more activities in destination. And so, seeing, I think more than 100% year-on-year growth in some of the categories in terms of the basket size that we're seeing.
Do you expect that to continue, do you think? There's so much talk about economic pressures and things. Any way to look ahead and...
Well, you heard me say this on stage, but I can't predict the future. I wish I had a crystal ball. But what we see is this enduring demand of particularly young people to spend their money on travel.
Yeah.
And I referenced a McKinsey report that said it was the number 3 thing that they would splurge on next year in 2024. And they see it now not as a luxury good, but rather something they're unwilling to forego.
Yeah. And so they will continue to then age and maybe continue to have that mindset.
I think we're all changing. The world is changing in that direction.
Yeah. So I know you oversee partnerships for Viator. I know there's been some that have been announced. Last month it was SimpleView. I know last year we covered a partnership with Uber. Talk to me a bit about the importance of partnerships.
Well, partnerships are a pretty large part of the Viator business, and basically it enables operators to reach thousands and thousands of affiliates, e-commerce partners like SimpleView, and travel agents. In fact, we have a very large travel agency business. And so, basically the importance is that it brings more bookings to operators, and so, it helps them find travelers wherever they are. So through loyalty programs, card programs, super apps, Uber app, and so on. So, very broad range outside the actual travel booking focus.
Yeah, and again, that reminds me, that's something that I know we have been tracking in some of our coverage, is there's this feeling that almost everyone wants to sell travel in some way. Everyone wants to be able
Everybody wants to get into it. In fact, I started my job about 5 years ago, and my job at that time was just distribution. And at that time, it was everyone in the travel sector was wanting to sell experience. So Booking.com, Expedia, flights, hotels. Now it's credit card loyalty programs, points and rewards programs, cashback programs, banks like fintech.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a piece of the travel game.
Yeah, interesting. Can you briefly tell us about what's sort of in development for Viator as far as your work with operators for maybe the coming year?
Yeah, so we have 2 main things that we have that we're focused on. The first one is Accelerate 2.0. So I think you're familiar with our commission plan that we introduced last year. Took a lot of feedback from operators. One of the main things they told us was that they didn't understand what they were getting for that money that they were paying, and that they didn't understand how that made them compare with their competitors. And so we've solved those 2 problems, we hope. And so in Accelerate 2.0, you'll be able to quite visibly see how many impressions you're getting for the amount of commission that you're paying. And you'll also be able to see how that compares with your competitive set or comparable products.
It's all about the data, right? It's all about...
Well, I think it's about knowing more about where you're positioned in the market than just us saying if you give more commission, you'll get more reviews,
right.
views rather. And then the second area that we're focused on, we've had a whole product team here, all of our senior product leadership here, talking to operators all week long about quality.
Okay.
And so what we're trying to do there is help operators improve the quality of the listings that they have, the reviews, and the experience itself by using not only the review data that we collect, but also the call center data that we're collecting, and of course the enormous amount of information we have from TripAdvisor to actually, build systems to tell operators you're doing well here, you need to improve here.
Yeah, that's very interesting. There's some AI in that, I think I heard you say.
A lot of AI in that, yeah.
Before we wrap up, just want to ask, you've been in the industry for a while. As you think about young women entering the travel industry today, any advice you might have for them?
Yeah, people ask me this all the time actually, because I've been in my career quite a long time and I'm a woman in the industry. The thing I always advise young women is don't be afraid to take control of your own destiny, and that you have self-agency and you have the power to chart the course for your own future. And sometimes that means putting your hand up for things and taking on additional responsibility. A lot of times it means seeking out a mentor. Women who are have had my level of experience, or at my stage of career I should say, are more than willing to work with younger women or women earlier in their stage of their career. And so that's sort of the way I go to market and the way I like to network with people and to help people grow.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's great advice. Well, Sarah Dines from Viator, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much, Mitra. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.